Welcome back to the Gobby Gaffer tuition videos on FM24 on the console, and I've done quite a few of these and they seem to have been quite well received. Quite a few people have mentioned that there's not that many around on YouTube, and they've been quite helpful, and apparently I speak very concisely and give a lot of information over. Okay, well, let's get stuck in. It's going to be a short one today, and it's just going to be on player instructions on where to find them and what to do with them. So you know the score by now. Left trigger brings out this pop-up panel, and if we just go to tactics, and we get the tactics screen comes up. So let's, for instance, let's go to our left wing back Williams, and if we just put the cursor over him and then R3, brings up edit player instructions, and R3 is quite useful in the game. I must admit it did take me a while to find this, pressing R3, and you can get some valuable information and hints and tips doing this. But anyway, so we pressed R3 and we're going to go into edit player instructions, and as you can see now one of the criticisms of FM24 on the console is that it's not as detailed as the PC version. But actually, it's not too bad if you know where to look, and I think that's the problem. I am going to do a video shortly on what I hope for FM25 on the console and things that have already been mentioned about it. But certainly, I think that it's a bit clunky, and things do take a little while for you to figure out. For instance, if I just go over this side, there's actually an actions pane on that side. It's not available here at the moment, but if you press on that actions pane sometimes, that can actually, you can action something, within the screen that you're on. But anyway, at the moment, as you can see, we're on the young fullback, Williams. We've got him set as a wing back. And we've got his player instructions here. Now, as you can see, this is quite detailed. So it's telling you at the top here, he's a wing back, he's on an attacking mode. Trigger press, so at the moment he's unbalanced. Quite a few of these things will be default because of the way, because we've set him on wing back attack. And as you can see at the bottom here, heavy green is selected, lighter green is part of his role, and anything that's in red is either conflicting or unavailable. So this is part of his role, and you can move this along if you want to do. We can actually ask him to trigger press more often, and it would still be part of his role. He could still do that, but I do like to leave quite a few of these things on default, just in case they do, conflict. And obviously, like we're going to have a look at in a minute, players' stats do weigh heavily into this. So under that, we can mark tighter if we want to do. We can tackle harder. So if you see in a game that Williams has picked up a yellow card in the first 5 minutes, you could come in here and ask him to ease off tackles, and it might save him getting a second yellow card. You can actually mark a specific player. You can actually ask him to mark a specific position. So very often within the game, your assistant manager before a game will say, oh, the danger man is such a body. Now you could ask, depending on who that danger man was, you could ask a specific player in your team to mark that player. It may or may not make a difference, but sometimes, like I say, this game can be a little bit more detailed than actually looks on the first looking. So this here is this block is basically he's getting further forward. Obviously, we can ask him to stay wider. We can ask him to sit narrower. This is the default position. He's just going to bomb forward in a straight line, more or less. If we want him to stay wider, then obviously, we might want to keep the wing backs very, very wide. We can do that. In here, we can ask him to run wide with the ball. We can actually ask him to cut inside with the ball. So that means he's going to bomb up the wing, but he's going to cut inside. If you've got an inside forward doing that, then you probably won't want him to do that. An inside forward cutting inside, then you would want him to go past the inside forward, down the side. and of course then obviously we want an end product from him. So at the moment he's on shorter passing. We can ask him to cross more often, cross less often, and then this is the where we want him to aim crosses at, either near post, far post, in the centre, or if we're playing a target forward, he can aim his crosses at the target forward. And of course there's lots more things in here: dribble more, dribble less, shoot less often, all of that kind of thing, take more risks. If we actually go back to, now you need to marry this in, so this is very important. Let's just have a look at his stats. So he's a young kid, he's a wonder kid, so he's only 19, and he's valued at 36 million, and his stats are, as you can see, on the whole, all his stats are rising. The yellow arrow means that he's actually learning, like pace, for instance, stamina is actually on the up. Free kick taking and corners, penalty taking are on the down low. Like if you see, we've got this amber, but we wouldn't really want him to be taking those anyway, so it's not a problem. But the important things for the player instructions is, so let's say, for instance, we want him to bomb up that wing and whip some crosses in. So what do we need from him then? Well, we need stamina, don't we? Because he needs stamina to get up and down there. We want him to be quick. He's got a 16 for acceleration, 13 for pace, which is on the up. It's not amazing 13, but it is on the up. Stamina 15, brilliant. We'd also like him to be very good at crossing. He's a 12 for crossing. So you see where I'm going with this? And this applies to every position. It's no good asking your centre back to be a ball playing defender if he can't pass a ball. If he's 6'6" and brilliant at heading, then maybe you want him to be just a no-nonsense centre-back and just stay where he is and just get his head on that ball every time it comes into the penalty area. So this is very critical to how we use the player instructions. And if we just go to a Banabi, our DLP, and just have a quick look in there. Now, as you can see in this one, it changes slightly. So we've not got as many options in here. So because he's a deep line playmaker on support, he's still on a balance for trigger press, but a lot of the things are kind of greyed out, and each position will have its own attributes that can actually change. And the inside forward on the right hand side there, Sar, if we go into his instructions, now as you can see, he's got many more things that we can change. At the moment, he's getting further forward. He's cutting inside with the ball. We'll have a look at the stats on Sar in a second, just to see whether that's a thing that he can do. But again, we can aim crosses. So if he's a winger, for instance, or is an inverted winger, we can ask him to do the crossing. As an inside forward, we want him to be nippy, we want him to be good at dribbling, want him to be quick, come inside, beat the fullback, and then maybe either have a shot or do something fancy with it, pass it to, I don't know, an advancing midfield player or a centre forward. But there's lots of things again in here, and we can even have him tackle harder, ease off tackles, mark tighter. So there's lots of things that can be done with the various positions, but they are all different. Don't think that your wing backs and your wingers are going to have the same kind of attributes for player instructions. They won't. And if we have a quick look at Sar's stats, and again, this is very important, you have to marry the player instructions to, So, for instance, you want an inside forward to be very good at dribbling. Now, unfortunately, Sar is only a 12 for dribbling. So that's not great. And he is 29 years old, so he's probably not going to learn that now. But he is very quick. He's got a pace of 18, acceleration of 14, his finishing of 13, long shots of 13. All of these things, you've basically got to, composure. Is he going to have the composure that when he actually cuts in and beats the fullback, is he going to have the composure to say, right, what do I do with it now? Its composure is, right, I'm on the ball, and is he composed enough to be able to do what you want him to do? Ismaila Sarr for me has been a very, very good player, but he is 29, and probably not going to hang on to him too much longer. I would like somebody quite a lot younger. If he was going to play as an inside forward, and I do like playing with the inside forwards, we want him to be very good at dribbling, very good at crossing. I mean, his crossing's not great, is it really? You know, so if he like comes in inside the fullback and then decides to chip a ball in, his crossing's not great. So like I say, all very important, all has to marry up. And we'll just have a look at one more position. This is my centre forward. I have him as a pressing forward. That is what he likes to do. So generally in game, you know, it's not rocket science. If you've got a centre forward and he likes to play pressing forward, then play him as a pressing forward. You can actually try and retrain him to be an attacking forward if you like to do that. But he plays the pressing forward on attacking. That's what we're going to do. Obviously, he's going to trigger press much more often. But as you can see, again, the player instructions have been dumbed down an awful lot because he's got a specific role to do there. Now, again, another thing to look at here, this marries in with the player stats. If we said to him, shoot more often, okay, he's a pressing forward and he might be great at pressing, but his shooting might be a 6 out of 20. It's not rocket science. You just have to think these things through. But these can be very, very important in the game. And you might want to keep tweaking them as a player gets a bit older, like, you know, the fullback. Williams is only 19. As he gets a bit older and a bit more experienced, you might want to tweak these things in here. Okay, so just a quick one today, and that's player instructions. And depending on how well this video does, I might do one or two more, because there are people out there who are just picking this game up. I've had one very recently, in fact, I think yesterday, and he just picked the game up, had a look on YouTube. There were very, very few tuition videos. He found mine, said it was of great help. So the more I can help people along, the better. And, you know, I have to say, and I've said this before, I'm not an expert on Football Manager, but just through playing it, I've been playing Football Manager on the PC for many, many, many years. But like I said, there's many, many content creators doing the PC version, the console version, not so many. So I thought I would come over here, have a go at it. I quite like the game. There's one or two things in it that, like I say, I am going to do an FM25 video very shortly. There's one or two things I would like adding, one or two things I'd like changing. But FM25, if you don't know, it's going to be on a brand new engine, and it's virtually going to be a brand new era for Football Manager. Very exciting, but it depends what they do with it. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Don't want it to be War and Peace as per usual. Nice, quick, snappy video on player instructions, and I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.